What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in again this week. We've got a new guest, a new week, so a new guest, Micah Tease from Booker T, Washington. Micah, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. Micah, obviously you're kind of might be hard for you to believe. You might already be all in on it, but you're kind of one of the premier players in the high school football landscape right now, so recruiting is big for you. Obviously it's a big season over at Booker T. But Mike, I want to go back to the early days. We want to learn a little bit about you. When did you get interested in football? What's the story behind you starting to play?
Okay, so I want to say around ever since like really a kid, I've always picked up on what my older brother was doing. We've always kind of been tied at the hip. And so once I got to around like pre-K 4, around kindergarten, that's when I started like really getting into sports. I started with basketball, and then we had picked up football. And I was kind of battling between the two, always going back and forth. At one point in time, I did enjoy basketball more. Like around like elementary school, I was rocking with basketball more, a little more, and then like football really just started to get heavy on me. But football, I really started to take a turn with football probably around my sixth, going to seventh grade year. I actually just realized like how big I was and what I could actually do, with it. And that's when I really started honing in on football more, and I kind of just let basketball go.
And so I know for a lot of kids who tend to be kind of bigger when they're younger, they don't always play the position. This position they started with isn't always the position they're currently playing. But has wide receiver always been you, or did you play something else early on?
So early on, when I was a kid, like I don't know what it was, like kids my age, like we were all somewhat big, but I would say I was probably like one of the biggest kids on my team. So I always played running back. I played running back all the way up until about sixth grade. And once I hit middle school, that's when I made this transition to receiver. Because I wanted to catch the ball in my hands. I luckily got tired of running back, like so once I made the move to receiver, never looked back.
So receiver's always been. I mean, looking at it now, you'd much rather be the receiver than the running back.
Essentially.
And so, Michael, like I was saying, you're one of the top guys in the state right now. So, talking with some other kids about recruiting, I assume yours was on a whole nother stratosphere. I know you committed to Arkansas, but looking back just on that whole process, did it ever get too hectic for you?
At days it would get too hectic. I remember vividly. I think probably the most hectic moments were probably September 1st of my junior year, because that whole week, because that's when all coaches were able to text, and I got texts from all different type of coaches. Like that night, I think that night alone, matter of fact, Lane Kiffin, Mario Cristobal, Coach Pittman, Coach Guyton, and there were a couple other more, but like they hit me all like soon as 12 o'clock hit, I got text from all those coaches. So but like my recruitment, it pretty like the only really times it really got hectic were like the September 1st or like really after I did my official visits. Those are only two times. But other than that, recruitment, I was kind of able to manage it a little bit more with the help of my parents and family. So
Is that, as a kid, you grow up, you're watching, these Power Five Division I schools on TV, and I'm sure that it's the dream when you're a little kid saying, "Oh, I'd love to go play for that school." But when it actually happens, and you like you're saying, you're getting a call from Coach Kiffin and Coach Pittman, do what is that feeling like?
to be honest, like the feeling it's like a surreal feeling, but like okay, so like put it like this. In my head, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like this is really happening. But like what's coming out is like I've been here before. Like in a sense, because like even though like these are like dreams coming true, I still have to like treat it like a business in a way, and I still have to actually talk, like I have some, like it's a business. So I mean, it was very surreal. Like, even my first time going down to Alabama, like, that was surreal for me. Like, that was like a culture shock for me. Like, I've never been down to Tuscaloosa. So going down there and seeing like the facilities and everything, like the coaching staff, that was real crazy to me. But like, it's definitely, it felt surreal. And it really, like, for me, all these moments really didn't register for me until like once I was getting to the time where I was about to commit.
What would your, main takeaways from this whole process be? Whether it be, advice that you give your teammates or other guys going through recruitment who might be struggling. What's kind of your takeaways and advice through this whole thing?
Everybody's recruitment process is really different, that's the main thing I would say. Like, don't try to base your recruitment process off of someone else's. Everybody's recruitment process, it goes different directions, and the speed of recruitment process are different directions. Like, you might have a guy who's blowing up, this early, and you're not getting as much attention as early. Like, trust me, like, the recruitment process, it varies. Enjoy it all, take it all in, and um really just try to, after went through the process, just try to give back, what you learned. Really, that's the biggest thing.
And so obviously you are a guy who's gone through and completed the process. Being committed going into your senior season, all of a sudden, I mean, what are you almost playing for? I know there's the team camaraderie and, let's go get a state championship, all that stuff. But, what's motivating you to grind out that senior year when you're already committed to a huge SEC school?
I mean, some people, they get kind of like the misconception that like once you commit, like everything is said and done, but I look at it like I'm still a senior in high school. I don't necessarily look at my commitment like I'm above anybody else. I kind of just look at it like I'm just another senior kid who's on his fourth year, who's trying to battle it off for a state championship. But, ultimately, like once it comes down, when everything, the season is over, then, I'm committed and I'm on to the next chapter. But right now, I'm just a senior kid trying to enjoy senior year.
And so, what stood out about Arkansas? What was the buildup into saying, hey, this is where I'm going to commit to? And then how did it feel to finally commit to a school?
Definitely the frequent talks with Coach Pittman and Coach Guyton. We had and Coach Browse as well. Arkansas was so close, like we would be down there or OU like quite a bit. And I took quite a bit of visits, and just going down there more and getting the feel for it more, talking with the coaches more and seeing how I fit in the system, how just like my daily commute would be down there in Fayetteville. It was all a fit for me, and it was a fit for my family as well. But like once I got to the point where I was ready to commit, I was kind of just caught in conflict, with all these other different schools. I only had 4 schools. And, the 4 I had got different experiences from. Notre Dame I had been to 3 times, USC twice, Texas A&M at that time it was only once. At Arkansas I had been around like 7. And like I was just thinking about it, and just thinking about the places where I felt the most comfortable at. Once I got the most love from, as far as like my family included as well, Arkansas, it was a perfect fit.
So that's a huge, you're touching a lot of different land, USC, Notre Dame, Arkansas, A&M. What stood out about, I guess it's more like Arkansas is like you're close to home, but USC, you're right there by the beach. Notre Dame, you're up there in the freezing cold. A&M, did you like having very different options to pick from there?
I did because I got an opportunity to see which one I fit the most in. Like I got an opportunity to see, okay, like just speaking, for instance, life after football, where would I want to reside? And I'm gonna just be quite honest, like LA, I liked it, I enjoyed it, but I kind of just felt at the time like I would kind of just be growing up by myself out there in LA. I really wouldn't have any structure. Not saying like, not insinuating that I'd just be doing anything crazy, but like I just feel like I wouldn't have like I just felt like I wouldn't have like enough structure for me to grow into a young man in LA. Notre Dame, I enjoyed Notre Dame. I did enjoy Notre Dame. Ultimately, I just it was kind of cold, and then I just kind of felt all the way out of the way in a way. Like LA, I have family in California. A lot of people know I have
Okay.
family in California. But like Notre Dame, I kind of didn't have family up there. And then Texas A&M, I had been down there once. I recently just came back from a fish visit, but I had been down there once. So it was kind of like just early. I was like, I mean, I like it, but, I haven't really got to see it much. So, just playing my cards right.
So Mike, is shifting topics here a little bit. Once again, as a premier guy in the high school landscape currently, there's some hot topic issues kind of being debated around about the sport in this state. One of which being high school athletes and NIL. What are your, as a guy who's going to a huge college, and I'm sure you're going to get opportunities there, what are your thoughts on maybe high school athletes being able to, reap the benefits of an NIL program in the state?
I definitely say use it. Just don't abuse it, really. Like just, use it, to as much as you can. Don't take it for granted because it could be taken like this, but just don't abuse it, don't try to make your college decision off of it. Don't try to, I don't know. I just feel like nowadays it's kind of like college decisions are kind of being made around that topic, but like ultimately I feel like, once it comes down to it and when there's some type of conflict, now you just kind of just messed yourself up, as far as like enjoying college. So I'll just say, take it for what it is, but still go through the process, actually look into a school, what the school has to offer, because NIL will always be there. NIL, a lot of people don't realize NIL is always going to be based off of your performance as well. So you can be promised all this amount of money, all this amount of currency, but if you're not performing, you got to meet up to it. So ultimately, I kind of just look at NIL as like, it's going to be based off of my performance. Now with the college world, now it's being presented, I'm going to make money wherever I go. So all I have to do, for me, in my head, all I have to do is go perform, excel in the classroom, excel on the field, and that'll all come, that'll all come.
And another one is, the transfer portal is kind of becoming a bigger deal year by year. What are your thoughts on all that? I mean, NFL's got free agency, college football, the transfer portal is just absolutely blown up. To now see it trickle down to high school, what do you think of that?
Well, for my instance, I'm pretty much, at the finishing line, but if I had to speak on it, I would probably say the transfer portal is kind of like ruined in a way. I feel like some people at this point are just jumping ship to jump ship, but I don't know everybody's, situations and what's going on behind closed doors. It just kind of just seems like everybody's just jumping ship to jump ship, like something's not going right with a coach just one day and now I want to transfer. Like, I mean, me personally, I just, it's all adversity is all going to be a part of college. That's what's going to make you into who you are, So I kind of just look at it, if some people in these transfer portal situations, just sometimes you got to stick it out, but the transfer portal is kind of ruining, for kids like high school kids, especially like kids who are trying to go to college and they, can show that they have the talent to, but a coach rather take a 3 or 4 year guy over, a fresh out of high school guy. And that's where it's kind of ruining for like the high school and the college transition. But like, I mean, I think the NCAA, they'll deal with it in some type of way, but I don't know. It's kind of messed up at this point.
Was there, I know, and I know not by a long shot is Booker T the only school that's dealt with it, but I know you guys have lost some guys.
Oh yeah.
And I know that's kind of sucked to lose your friends, right?
Yeah, definitely like especially dudes that you grew up with, like Ben, hanging up with, kicking around with. It's definitely hard. And it shouldn't be like to the point where kids are being pulled out of places like this, especially where schools actually come to places like this. That shouldn't be the scenario, and definitely I kind of feel like, I don't know, I took it in a personal way, because I don't know. It's just like, Dean, when you grew up around this way and when you come up from out here, like it's different. It holds a whole different value, And so I just kind of just don't like it. Like them coming around and pulling kids from out here, taking them out there. I really don't like it. I really don't. And I always stand on, I'm a product of the North and I stand on the North. I'll always be from the North,
You don't take me as a guy who ever would have wanted to transfer.
Nah, I'm good where I'm at. Through the thick and thin, I'm good where I'm at.
So moving on, Micah, we're gonna go into a little section. We've been touching on some deep stuff, some stuff that requires some thought, but let's just break it up here. We're gonna go with a little lighthearted segment. I just call it quick hits. I got 10 questions. You just need to give me one word answer. On some of them, I might need to ask why, but we're just
Okay.
gonna roll through here. So the first one right off the bat, Michael, what's your dream car?
Dream car. Mm, I can't think of this. It got to be quick. Mercedes AMG, black on black,
What's your dream job?
NFL professional football player.
You a big city or a small town guy?
Big city.
Why?
I say big city for the long shot because I like to interact with my city. I don't like Tulsa is a cool city, but like it's somewhat small. But like I like big cities. I like to interact and go see different things, eat different types of food.
Favorite NFL player growing up?
Devin Hester.
I know you already touched on this, but your favorite sport other than football?
Track.
Ooh, not basketball?
Track.
Your favorite guilty pleasure fast food?
Whataburger.
What's the order?
Number one, no tomatoes and a side of onion rings and a medium Powerade with light ice.
Favorite movie?
Ooh, Rush Hour.
What is the pregame music?
ESTG, Shooting Myself. Currently, but if I had to pick, Nipsey Hussle, anything Nipsey Hussle.
Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No. Well, I'm gonna say I don't know because I haven't tried, so I can't knock it till I try it. So I'm gonna say I don't know on that one.
And then special last question here, just because you're going there. What is your favorite part about Fayetteville then?
My favorite part. Okay, I don't know if people know about this, but I'll give you one. So we went to a basketball game last year. It was in January during a visit, and we were, during the visit, and I went to the bathroom. And when I went to the bathroom, I talked to this man, and he was just a simple Arkansas fan. He was just asking me, was I enjoying the visit? And we ended up talking and whatnot, but that man ended up being my godmother. She went to Arkansas. He ended up being like he knew her some way and somehow, and ever since then, that's just been my favorite moment about Arkansas. Like just how, like I went up there on a visit, just happened to go to the bathroom, and how like I just hit back home that quick. Like that's probably been my favorite part.
And then, Michael, we're going to wrap up our conversation today. Let's talk about the Booker T. Washington season as a whole. I know you guys didn't get out on, the foot you wanted, but you've been able to kind of recover, get back into the groove of things. What's working for this team to get back to where they wanted to be?
Consistency. Definitely staying consistent in what we do, and just really just tuning up the little things, being consistent in what we do, and sticking together to the last end. I think definitely Bartlesville last week was a testament of us sticking together, especially with the incident that happened on the sideline. A lot of people don't know, but there was like a little altercation on the sideline, and just seeing how like we stuck through that and we finished the game, like that's definitely what we're going to continue to do. Be consistent in what we do, play the game the right way, and tune up on the little things.
And then going into Friday's game, I know Booker T and Stillwater were both kind of neck and neck in terms of preseason favorites to win this class. What needs to happen on Friday for you guys to pull out a win?
Defense. Defense is gonna have to step up. Offense, we're gonna have to make sure we're firing off the ball. Special teams gonna have to make sure we're getting down to the ball, recovering the ball, blocking up, and really we're just gonna have to be on all four cylinders. Really, everybody just have to be in tune with the game. Be ready for the next play. Just in case plays are gonna happen. Big runs are gonna be made, but just make sure we're always on to the next play, and really just playing with speed. All
right, everybody. Well, that's been Micah Tease with Booker T. Washington. Micah, thank you so much for joining me today. As always, check us out on TulsaWorld.com. We'll have it up on some podcast sites, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And don't forget, tune in next week. We'll have another guest. Thank you all for
Thank you for having
listening.
me.